As America ages, demand for senior care is accelerating rapidly, with more than 10,000 people a day turning 65. Our workforce is stretched, and too often, reimbursement lags the real cost of care. Today on the Tell Our Stories podcast, Congressman Tony Wied joins us to talk about practical fixes, including strengthening and growing the caregiving workforce, keeping telehealth access, especially in rural communities, and investing in innovation that will help lighten the load for staff, clearing the regulatory clutter so providers can focus on their real mission, outcomes. Because behind every statistic is a story, and every story is a call to action. I'm Ryan McNamara, and this is the Tell Our Stories podcast. Well, Congressman Wied, thanks so much for joining us here today on the Tell Our Stories podcast. We're thrilled to have you here, and we're talking about an issue really near and dear to our hearts here at Direct Supply and Senior Living Advocacy, senior care. So just to put us in perspective here, the number of Americans aged 65 and older is projected to increase from 58 million folks today to 82 million by 2050. So you're talking about a 45% increase roughly in the number of folks aged 65 and older. And here in Wisconsin specifically, the population aged 65 and older is projected to grow by 21% in the next 10 years. So we're seeing a lot of the baby boomer generation age into what we might consider senior care eligible age, whether that's independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, or home and community-based services. It really spans a spectrum of care. And so to start off, what would you say to the folks in the workforce, the people working in senior care communities, whether that's the nurse aides, the folks on the dining staff, the folks on the social team? They're doing incredible work every day. And if any of them are listening right now, what message might you have for folks that are working in senior care?
Well, thank you. And you're heroes. And the amount of people that are working in the industry of taking care of our elderly and those in need, it is so important. And they truly are heroes. And ultimately, we're standing on the shoulders of of those that are older than us that have helped build this country. And so the work that they do, whether that's in home or in a residence, nursing home to assisted living, and just taking care of our elders is very important. And that's been important for generations, right? Of taking care of your elders. So it is so important. It's an amazing job. It's so fulfilling. And the care that you give people, I think I think they find it to be fulfilling as well, but they just need to know that it is so important. The work they do, again, they're heroes, and I just cannot thank them enough.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, all of us have some kind of connection to senior care in some way, right? Whether it's a parent of ours or a grandparent or us, our own, individual self may one day need somebody to care for us, right? So It's a system that impacts all of us, and it doesn't discriminate, the way that other issues do. And so from your seat in Congress today, are there any particular efforts underway that you think can help the workers or improve their livelihoods, or folks that work in these, demanding jobs? Working in senior care is not for the faint of heart. It is a tough job, but it's a rewarding job. And so what, if anything, in Congress can we do to help support the folks that work in our industry?
Well, from my job right now is to learn and to visit the locations throughout my district and in the state, and then also to visit with great people like Direct Supply and meeting all of the partners that Direct Supply works with, and being here today and just understanding everything that is involved. It is going to continue to be a major issue. I think Bob mentioned 25,000 people per day are moving into whether it's assisted living or some sort of care. So I think my job is to learn what we can do from a government perspective, and also what we can do to get out of the way and allow innovators and the great people like Direct Supply and the business owners that are running these great operations, so to give them the space so they can innovate and allow for the care. There's no question we're running into shortages. Labor is going to continue to be an issue to care for the growing number of folks that are coming in. So things like the Telehealth Expansion Act and sponsoring that, I think that's can be very important, and which allows for people to be able to utilize telehealth and in those rural areas, and I'm in a very rural area in District 8. Share Act, and there's things of allowing providers to go across state lines and opening up those opportunities. But to me, what really helps is being a good ally for the business owners, the innovators that are in like Direct Supply and others, to, looking at like the innovation that's here, right at the headquarters here, and seeing that, we're going to have this issue with from a personnel perspective. What are ways that we can innovate, which allows for one person to maybe do more, a caregiver to do more to help have better outcomes for the people that are in assisted living. So my job right now, like I said, is to really understand it, learn about it, support the great innovators and the people, because I believe in people. I don't think government's really going to have the solution. And, I think that's where we really need to spend our time, is, again, meeting with the great people that are supporting the great people that are, going into assisted living. And I watched my grandmother go through it and move in and all the way through the dementia and Alzheimer's units. And again, like you said, we're all going to be most likely in these situations. So we have to find ways to make sure that we can handle that and take care of people.
Yeah, I appreciate what you said, Congressman, given your business background, about the overlapping kind of regulatory pull that a lot of our providers face and the need for innovation to help offset some of those workforce challenges. I think too often senior care providers get stuck in overlapping jurisdictions of regulation and things that are really difficult for them to deal with on an individual business level. And I think the more that we can clear some room for them to focus on care delivery and outcomes for seniors, the better off we'll be as a senior care community. And so, bringing it back to the community, I think that's where we're going to try and zoom in rather than the federal level on your seat in Congress. What role do you think local communities can help play in helping senior care thrive? I mean, whether it's volunteering or supporting staff in their communities or, just showing up, what role do you think local communities might be able to play?
Well, really everything is local. No question. It's about building, I think, the people that are involved in the local towns, in their villages, in their cities, in their counties. I mean, it really is a village that we take care of the young all the way through the old, and we're there for each other. That's what's so important. But no question, the nurses, the staff, the aides, the drivers, volunteers, the religious, charities and all of that. It really does require everybody to be a part of it, and that's what's so important. And I love seeing that. I think Northeast Wisconsin's the greatest place to live. I've been now traveling around quite a bit in the country and the world, which I hadn't done before, being a small business owner and raising my 4 children. But I truly see that, Wisconsin, in the Northeast Wisconsin is just truly a great place. People do care, and I think that's really important.
Yeah,
that people continue to chip in.
Right, the role of religious organizations and non-for-profits and senior care specifically is so outsized, and we're really fortunate to have a lot of great religious-based and non-for-profit organizations get involved in senior care. So we're pretty close to wrapping up here, but before we let you go, if you could set out a positive vision for senior care and what you hope to see for senior care looking forward, what's one dream or goal that you have for senior care looking forward for this country?
Well, I think it is really, truly innovation. Being here today and just looking at really the partnership that Direct Supply has with students at MSOE, an amazing, learning institution right here in Milwaukee. And just, bringing those kids in, I call them kids, they're not, they're young adults, in here and working with business, taking students and working with business and innovating, looking at identifying problems that we have in the senior living. And there's plenty of challenges. I mean, you mentioned regulations and you mentioned labor, and we've talked about that. But just bringing in, I think, our young adults and having them, help identify the problem and having them be a part of the solution, I think is really the way that we're moving forward. So it's great to see innovators, again, like Direct Supply and the great team here, continue to do that. And again, bringing in those youngsters and they're finding great solutions. I learned so much today. I have much more hope about senior living in that space. And it is a major concern. Most people don't really understand what it takes until a loved one has to go in, or they're working through that. But knowing that we have great innovators, and that's where I want to be a partner from the government standpoint to work with, again, the innovators, the people, to make sure that we're solving these issues. And, you have someone like Bob and Genevieve here that truly care, and they continue to fight every day to make sure that people have a good place to live and that we take good care of them. These people have served in the Army. They've been superintendents, leaders in the community. And again, I just believe in people. And I think this just gives me so much hope. And so I want to continue to support, again, the great people and the innovators, like all the partners that we met with today.
That's so great. Congressman, well said. Thank you again for taking the time today to talk with us on the Tell Our Stories podcast about critical issues facing senior care. We appreciate all your support. And again, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Tell Our Stories podcast. Today's conversation underscored what our key issues really demand: workforce relief, fair reimbursement that sustains quality, telehealth and technology access that keep care close to home, and smarter policies that enable innovation. Visit tellourstories.com to see how these priorities connect and share your story so policymakers can hear more about what's working and what we need to change. Together, we can build a system that honors those who came before us and sustains those who care for them. I'm Ryan McNamara, and this is the Tell Our Stories podcast, where policy meets people.